Chapter 8 Loud and Proud. After the little talk with Papa Dave, I had no problem with being the turkey. In fact, I was excited to play the part. The day of the show finally arrived. I was up even before my alarm went off. I wanted to make sure I had all the parts of my costume ready to take to school. My mom had worked really hard making the best turkey costume ever and I didn't want to forget a piece of it. I looked in the bag. Brown pants and shirt? Check. Turkey feet? Check. Socks? Check. Feather suit? Check. Hood with beak? Check. Uh-oh. Where was the hood? That was the best part of the costume. I looked under my bed. Not there. I looked in my closet. Not there. I looked behind my bookcase. Not there. I ran to look in the bathroom. Maybe I left it in there last night when I was trying on my costume in front of the mirror. Of course, when I got to the bathroom, it was locked. Princess Susie was making herself look beautiful for school. I pounded on the door. Open up, Susie. It's an emergency. You'll have to wait your turn. Shark breath. I'm busy right now. But I need to get in right away. Too bad. I pounded on the door even harder. Let me in! Let me in! Freddie, what is the problem? Asked my mom. I heard you all the way downstairs in the kitchen. I can't find my hood, Mom, and that's the best part of my costume. I won't look like a turkey without it. Calm down. Why don't you look in your room? I already did. It's not there. That's why I want to check the bathroom, but Stinky Susie won't let me in. Susie, my mom said, knocking gently on the door. Please open the door. Your brother needs to look for something in there. Sure thing, Mom, Susie said, opening the door and smiling sweetly. I don't know what Freddie was yelling about. When my mom wasn't looking, I stuck my tongue out at her and whispered, Brat. Oh, look, Freddie, here it is, said my mom, lifting the hood out of the dirty clothes hamper. I wonder how it got in there. Yeah, I wonder, I said, staring at Susie. Thanks for finding it, Mom. You're the best. No problem, honey. Now go put it on in the bag. Go put it in the bag with the rest of the costume. Come downstairs for dinner, for breakfast. A turkey has to eat a good breakfast, you know. Stay nice and fat. In true turkey fashion, I gobbled down my breakfast. Then I headed off to school. Our classroom was buzzing with excitement. Today is the big day, boys and girls. All of your families are coming to see the Thanksgiving show. I know they are going to be so proud of you. By now, you all need to put on your costumes. I'm so excited about my dress, said Jessie. My abuela worked really hard sewing it. She made this beaded necklace. It's so beautiful. I love my costume too, I said. My mom spent hours sewing it. That dress is really pretty, I said to Jessie. You look just like an Indian princess. Thanks. What about me, Freddie? Chloe interrupted, stepping right in front of Jessie. Don't I look beautiful? I just stared at her. Well, what do you guys think? She asked, twirling around in her black and white pilgrim dress. He thinks you're a pain, Max butted in. Freddie wasn't talking to you, he was talking to Jessie. You don't have to be so mean, Max Sellers, Chloe whined, sticking at her lower lip. And you don't have to be so annoying. I carefully took my costume out of the bag. I didn't want any of the feathers to break off. Just as I started to put it on, I heard it. The giggling was quiet at first, but then it got louder and louder. I turned around and saw all of the kids in my class laughing at me. Not just Max, but everyone. My cheeks got hot. My face turned as red as a tomato. I dropped the costume and ran out of the room. Freddie, wait! Mrs. Wishy called as she ran after me. I didn't want to wait. I just wanted to keep running and never go back to that classroom again. I wanted to hide, but where? I stopped for a second and hit my forehead with the palm of my hand. Think, think, think. When I looked up, I saw the janitor coming out of a supply closet. As soon as he turned his back and headed down the hall, I ran inside and hid next to the big vacuum cleaner. I was scared because it was really dark in there. As sitting in the dark was still better than having all the kids in my class laugh at me. I sat there for a while, frozen like a statue, trying not to make a sound. I could hear footsteps coming closer. I held my breath. Freddie! Freddie! Mrs. Bushy called. Where are you? Just then I heard another voice. It was Mr. Pendergast, the principal. Is something wrong, Mrs. Bushy? Yes, Mr. Pendergast. I'm looking for Freddie Thresher. He ran away. Ran away? What do you mean? Well, the other children in the class were laughing at him about his costume for the Thanksgiving show, and he got really upset and ran out of the room. I can't find him anywhere. That's terrible. Where do you think he went? I have no idea, and I'm getting worried. Maybe we'd better call the police, Mr. Pendergast said. The police? I didn't want to be the turkey, but I didn't want to go to jail either. I jumped up and threw open the door. I don't want to go to jail, I howled. Then I burst into tears. I'm sorry. Freddie, thank goodness you're all right, Mrs. Bushy said, giving me a hug. Don't worry, you're not going to jail. But I heard you say you were going to call the police. We just thought the police could help us find you, said Mr. Pendergast. They weren't going to take you to jail, he said with a smile. Oh, Freddie, said Mrs. Bushy, I'm so sorry the kids laughed at you like that. I think your costume is beautiful. No, it's not, I cried. It's silly, and everyone is going to laugh at me. I'm not going to be in the play. But you have to be. The turkey is the star of the show. It's the symbol of Thanksgiving. Then someone else can be the turkey because I am not going to do it. Freddie, said Mr. Pendergast, why don't you come with me to my office? I want to tell you a little story. Am I in trouble? No, of course not. I just want to talk to you for a minute. He took my hand and led me to his office. I'm sure Max could describe every detail, but I'd never been in there before. Take a seat. I sat down in a big, cushy chair across from Mr. Pendergast's desk. I thought the chair was going to swallow me up. Freddie, do you know what part I had in my first grade play? I shook my head. A piece of trash. I tried not to laugh, but I couldn't help it. A piece of trash? I asked and giggled. Yep, a piece of trash. My class was doing a play about recycling, and I had to be a piece of trash. I was so embarrassed, and everybody teased me for weeks. So, what did you do? Well, at first I cried about it like you did, and I told my mom that I was never going to school again. Did she let you stay home? Of course not. And since I had no choice, I decided to be the best piece of trash anybody ever saw. I decided to be a dancing piece of trash. A dancing piece of trash? That sounds hilarious. Oh, it was. And everybody said I, everybody loved it. In fact, my teacher said I stole the show. Really? Really? So how about it? Want to be the dancing turkey? I jumped up out of my seat and started dancing around Mr. Pendergast's office. Gobble, 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 gobble. Mr. Pendergast laughed, and then he started gobbling and dancing around his office too. I never knew that he could be so funny. All right, Freddie, you'd better hurry or you'll miss the show. I ran back to my classroom and got there just as everyone was lining up to go to the auditorium. Jessie smiled and said, Hurry, Freddie, it's almost time for the show. We need you. Mrs. Wishy helped me into my costume. Jessie squeezed my hand. Good luck, Freddie, she whispered. You look great. I squeezed her hand back. Good luck to you, too. When we got to the auditorium, the parents and grandparents were already there. Come on, everyone, called Mrs. Wishy. Get backstage. It's almost time to start the show. As I started to head backstage, Papa Dave walked over to me and whispered, Go get him, Tiger. Remember, loud and proud. Gobble, gobble. Then he gave me a quick hug and went to his seat. As the curtains opened, I looked out into the audience and saw Mr. Pendergast standing in the back of the auditorium. He flapped his arms and did a silent gobble gobble. I smiled. Then I strutted out on stage, flapped my wings, and did the loudest and proudest gobble gobble gobble. The audience laughed. Papa Dave, Grammy, and Mr. Pendergast cheered, and I began the show. Welcome to our class play about the story of Thanksgiving. The end.